I'm going to give this stuff a go today. Now, I've never used it before. This is not how to use the stuff, this is how I'm going to use the stuff, because I'm just your regular Joe and I'm going to apply it how I think it should be applied. Now there's instructions on the side here that goes through steps. I'm going to go through the process. I've taken the stereo out. I'm going to remove this out a bit so I can get the stuff right down there. I'm going to remove the glove box so I can get into there as well. I'm not going to focus too much on the vents. You'll see why in a minute when I take this off, that the ducting that goes through all those vents there is right behind there. I might finish off with, when I put it back together, do a bit again on the ducts, but I'm focusing on the heater core and the evaporator. So this stuff here claims that it cleans. I highly doubt that. Worst case scenario, it doesn't clean. Best case scenario, the car smells cleaner. We'll just see how it turns out. My main focus is I want better air coming out. Because my car doesn't have a cabin air filter, I can't take the cabin air filter out, so therefore my heater core or the evaporator is blocked up, and I'm hoping that this stuff here helps a little bit, that I can get some more air coming out of my vents. So I'm going to take this off, get the glove box off, and get into applying this stuff. Right, so there's no more instructions inside. It's just packaging, a short hose, and the can that they say to shake it well before you use it. Now the thing is, because it's got a bend in it, when you put this in, you probably have to make sure that you go in this way if you're not going to remove the cover like I have, and somehow you'd work it through there, I guess, like that. Because when you get down to there, what you're going to do is, even if it's facing up, you get to a point where it's not going all the way down, and you can't tell where it's not going, because if you're coming through here, you can't see on the other side there, you can't tell where that hose is going. So you need to guide it yourself, and see how it wants to go straight into the side vent there, and that could very well happen, and you'd see the foam coming out of the side vent, and you'd think the whole thing's filled up, but it's not. So you have to try and get this down there. Now that's not even really as far as I wanted to get. That's only just going to where that door is down there, not going all the way down, and I can't push that any further down without losing the pipe tubing here. So longer tubing would be much better to get right in, but do what I can. That'll have to just be that will just have to do. I can't get any further than that. I'll fill it up down there until I see the foam coming up. And if the glove box dropped, didn't remove it, just drop it. I'll lift this door up here, and I'll see what I can do with putting it in there as well, where the blower motor is. Alright, so first of all, I've got the hose on the bottle here, just a metal connection here that comes out. You push the hose over, and I'm going to get it down there. After I shake the can up really well, I'm going to shake it for about 30 seconds, maybe longer, give it a good shake, and then I'll start spraying it down. I'll try and film it at the same time if I can. It's a bit tricky, but see what I can do. Right, so the instructions say, ensure engine or electricals turned off, remove cabin air filter, which I don't have, insert extension tube about 30 centimeters in, so all the way, because it's about 30 centimeters long. Allow product to work for at least half an hour. During this period, the foam will discharge through the AC. Turn on the engine and leave it in idle for at least 10 to 20 minutes, so it's going to cost you a few bucks in petrol. With the heating ventilation system at maximum, so that's going to blow a whole bunch of crap out of the vents if you put that on maximum, hopefully. Thing is, it doesn't say, like it says heater system vents, but that arm there, this arm here, changes it from, if I was to swing the arm, it goes one way for heat, it goes the other way for air conditioning. So I'd want to do that both ways, not just one way. So I'm going to, first of all, I was using the aircon this morning, so it would be in the position for aircon. I'm going to do it that way, and then I'm going to the heat and doing that way as well, because you want it to go both ways, through the heater core and through the evaporator, not just one. Because I don't know what's behind there. I haven't taken the dash out, so one way might be good enough, but I have a feeling that I need to do it both ways. It says check the evaporator is dry and replace the cabin filter. How am I supposed to check if it's dry? You can't see in there, so it is what it is. During the complete operation and until total evaporation of the active foam, any enclosed workspace must be well ventilated by opening doors and windows. Leave the car hood open. Okay. Righto, yeah, keep out of reach out of children, blah blah blah. What it says there. So you can read up about the product online yourself, just search it up. I'm just hoping that it does more than just killing germs. I hope it actually does do some cleaning as well. Anyway, I have my doubts, hope I'm wrong. I couldn't show you it happening because I used both hands, and you can see how the hose there's kind of dangling up. I had to use the other hand and push that right down, and I just kept it spraying for ages. Went for quite a long time before I could see the foam coming up, and now I just leave that alone there and take this out, and that's more than half a can already used just doing that part. Now I'm going to go down there and do it there. Okay, so I've got the hose through the blower motor there, and we're just going to fill this up. Okay, put the door back down. Righto. So there's nowhere else to go in there, and the can is, it feels like I've used 2/3 of it now. Get a little bit of mess around here, so just keep a cloth handy. Just wipe up any crap. Righto, so now I'm going to change that over to heater. So that's on there. Righto, so I've got that all in there now. And don't be scared to get it on your hands unless you've got allergies. I don't really care. The amount of chemicals I touch, I never have a problem. But in case you do, wear gloves or something. That's all in there, all around the motor now. So that's just the foam's expanded to there. I actually could hold it in. I could feel that I was getting to a point where I was touching either the evaporator or heater core, whatever's behind there. So I moved the motor around like that a little bit just to get the foam all the way on that one side, and it's spread all the way around. I'm going to close this door now, and there's a little bit of foam that's coming out at the bottom there. It's not going to be a drama. Might put a bit of a cloth down the bottom here just to catch anything that drips down. Actually, this cloth can just stay here right now, just like that. And the can is basically empty now. If I was to put foam on the sides here, it'll drip down into the middle. So I'm just going to finish this can off with the side vents here and leave it for half an hour like it says, and then come back. It doesn't say on the can if you should hold it upside down or the right way around. So, you know, who knows there. Oh, see, it's empty. Better than a kick in the pants though, eh? On the driver's side, nothing went in there. It's just splattering. So forget about doing the vents for the center console as well, because there's just not enough for this stuff. Could probably use 1.5 of these. I'd even go as far as saying need 2 of them to do the job properly. So now I can't do anything else for half an hour. I'll leave it alone and then come back, and you can see it's dripping onto the cloth there. I might just put another couple of cloths across in case it starts to drip somewhere else, and we'll come back in half an hour like it says, put everything back together and put the blowers on full and follow the rest of the instructions. It's been a little bit over an hour. It said to do it after half an hour, but I think half an hour or longer is what it means. So it should be nice and dry there now. That's the reason why I left it so long, is because I can't tell if it's dry on the inside. So I'm going to start the car first, and then we're going to put it on heat. As it says, do it on heat. It was on heat when I first did the foam, and then I changed it over to AC, if you remember. I'll put this on full. Definitely stinks. Didn't smell it when I was putting it in though, but I smell it now, so I'm going to get out of the car. Didn't see any rubbish flying, that's why I was recording this particular part. See if there's any rubbish come flying out, but no, it all looks good, just stinks. So I'm going to be on the outside of the car for the next 10 minutes. Alright, well that's about how much rubbish came out of there. Hot air coming out of here, you know, until I go for a drive, but it doesn't feel any different. I'm going to switch it over to aircon in a minute and go for a drive. That's when I've been driving it the last few days to know what it feels like, so that's the best way to do it. Okay, now I've stopped for a minute, so you can see there 9.7, that's pretty good. And I don't know if I have any other clips that show you how loud it was when it was blowing, but it's definitely made a difference. I also took this out and gave it a new paint job as well. It was had a few chips and whatnot, so might as well. And the stereo's not in quite yet because I'm mucking around at the back of it with GPS. And the thing I was talking about is down behind the glove box. Now I noticed when I put it on cold and the arm came down, it didn't look like it went far enough. So I unclipped it and had a look to see if it could go any further, and it could. So that black part of the cable there is sitting back maybe about 3 to 5 mil further back than what it was before, and now the vent closes properly. Now I know it's not a big deal, it's only a slight opening, but still, you know, you're adding hot into the cold, and we're trying to get this as cold as possible. So with all that being said and done, it is what it is. They're definitely getting more air out of the vents, but it's definitely a noticeable difference between before the foaming of the vents and after. So that's definitely something that I would do next time for an AU Falcon or any car that doesn't have a cabin filter. Try giving the foam treatment first to get that airflow going before doing air conditioning. That was probably what my main factor was of why I was having so much drama, is that the evaporator wasn't getting enough air past it. Anyway, that concludes this video. I appreciate you sticking it out and watching it. It's probably really long, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.